92,000 tech workers have been laid off so far in 2026. In that same period, Amazon, Meta, Google, and Microsoft announced they would spend $25 billion on AI infrastructure this year. The math is not a coincidence. This is the AI Power Briefing. Here's what happened this week. Story 1. The $725 billion trade-off. Amazon cut 16,000 corporate roles in the first quarter of this year, more than half of all tech layoffs in the quarter. AWS grew 24% in that same period, its fastest growth in 13 quarters. Meta announced 8,000 cuts, 10% of its workforce, effective May 20th. It also announced it would spend between $115 and $135 billion on AI this year. Microsoft has shed roughly 125,000 employees through what it calls voluntary departures. Here's the number that explains all of it. The AI CapEx line for these four companies is now 4 to 5 times larger than their entire combined payroll. They're not cutting people to save money. They're cutting people to shift money. The budget that used to pay for humans is now paying for compute. The uncomfortable detail: 275,000 AI-related job postings are currently sitting open in the United States, at the same time as the cuts. Companies report a 92% increase in AI-related hiring, with a 56% wage premium. Customer support, quality assurance, content moderation, middle management. Those are gone. Machine learning engineers, AI safety researchers, data infrastructure. They're being hired at any price. The AI boom is not eliminating jobs. It's replacing one workforce with a different one. And the transition is not slow. That's story 1. Story 2 is the one the financial press reported but didn't explain. Story 2, $110 billion. Only $25 billion is real. In February, OpenAI closed what's being called the largest private venture fundraise in history, $110 billion, at an $840 billion valuation. The headline was everywhere. The detail buried on page 6 of most coverage. Approximately $25 billion of that is confirmed. Imminent cash. The remaining $85 billion consists of compute credits from Amazon Web Services, meaning OpenAI gets cloud infrastructure, not cash. Conditional tranches tied to future milestones, and what analysts are calling circular financing. OpenAI committed to spending $100 billion on AWS over the next 8 years as part of the same deal. Amazon invested $50 billion into OpenAI. OpenAI committed $100 billion back to Amazon. That is not $50 billion flowing into OpenAI's account. That is a strategic partnership dressed as a valuation. None of this makes OpenAI less powerful. The infrastructure is real. The compute is real. But the $840 billion valuation, the number that's been printed as gospel, is built substantially on credits, conditions, and future commitments, not cash on hand. When someone tells you OpenAI is worth more than ExxonMobil, ask them to show you the balance sheet. Story 3 is smaller in scale, but it might matter more long-term. Story 3. The signal. Meta's AI lab is gone. Yann LeCun is one of 3 people who share the Turing Award, the Nobel Prize of Computer Science, for their foundational work on neural networks. He spent a decade building Meta's AI research division into one of the most respected labs in the world. This year, He left. On the way out, he said the team had, quote, fudged some of its benchmark results. 600 researchers were cut. The lab was restructured under a 29-year-old executive who arrived at Meta in 2024. Here's the signal. When the person who built one of the world's elite AI research institutions walks out and questions the integrity of the results, and the response is to fire 600 researchers and reorganize around the executive he was criticizing. What you're watching is a company choosing product speed over research integrity. That is a choice every major AI lab is being forced to make right now. Meta just made it visibly. The big picture. 3 different stories. 1 pattern. Money is concentrating. The people building AI are being replaced by the infrastructure running it. The research labs that existed to slow things down and ask hard questions are being restructured by the people who want to move faster. The AI boom is not a technology story. It's a power story. And this week gave us 3 data points that all point the same direction. Same time next week.